some of his videos you need to watch several times because, I multitask. I always have some exams to grade. I always have some papers to grade. I always have some homework to grade. So a lot of time I am multitasking, but he's got a theory of the swarm and I love it because that's my actual experience. That's what happens, but not just in the United States. You know why? Because big pharma and big corporations, big ag, are pushing GMOs all over the planet. And so you've got people who are being forced that, even in India, what was India going through a few years ago? It was the suicides of the farmers. Why? Because they were being forced to take those Monsanto seeds that don't reproduce seeds. And then every year they have to buy the seeds. So, Dr. Shiva did a whole, I think it was like 45 minutes on how you can beat big ag, big pharma at their own game, and even the peer-reviewed articles that are allowed into journals. And he did that. So for me, that's really, really important because perhaps there is a way for other kinds of thinking to make it into peer-reviewed journals. Dr. Shiva showed us you can do it, and then they can't argue with that because basically the corruption of the climate change IPCC, I think, the scientific community in those initial page articles, they all referenced each other. And I didn't believe it. So I pulled the articles myself and I looked at the references myself and I saw that they were all referencing each other. And so, now you're going to base a whole global science and global industry on documents that have been scientifically demonstrated to be fraudulent. And, they did it again with COVID, didn't they? They did it again with COVID. So they will do it over and over and over again. How are we to know what's real science versus fake science if we're not allowed to see the actual science? And for that, we have to be able to do the free thinking ourselves, and we have to be able to do the research ourselves. And that's the value of having someone with Dr. Shiva's background in office, because he can roll up his sleeves and he can do the research himself. And that's research that we can count on.